Hello YouTube, this is Jessica from STEM APKs. Welcome to another tutorial. In this tutorial, we're going to continue where we left off in the last tutorial. As you remember, in the last tutorial, we talked about how to do zoom in, pan, and do the introduce the image viewer. And let me just run it here again, so just to refresh your memory. And as you remember, we worked with an image, and then we were able to zoom in, zoom out. But you see how laggy it is and how slow. And I kind of touched on it, why that is. And I said that to run it using cargo release. Now we're going to understand why that is important and what's happening under the hood. Because as you can see, the smaller the image, of course, is going to be easier for it to move, right? Because it's easier, it's smaller, so it's a lot less stuff to be kind of carrying around. But the moment you increase it, you can see that it becomes a lot slower, right? Okay, that's why I said let's run it on cargo release mode. But now let's dig in a little bit more into it, and let me show you with an example. This is a code that is just basically, it's just a time it type of thing where you're going to see 1 billion elements being created, creating a vector of 1 billion elements. And I'm going to run it on cargo run and cargo run release, debug mode and release mode, production mode. So let's just do it. So let's just do cargo run, and it's going and going and going and going and going and going. And then finally, it took 9.13 seconds. Now, if I run the same code, but using release, done. Look at the difference. 9 seconds, 2 seconds. When with a code like the one, this code. This is just the 1 billion elements, which is nothing compared to what we're doing here. Let's close this one. Uh, this is a lot more stuff because these are images, and let's see the difference with this cargo run. And I just want to show you something. So I have a clean binary because I want to show you. Let's clear this. Then let's show you something. Let's look, let's go into the target, and then let's go into the debug directory, and let's list everything in it. And you can see this is a lot of this stuff in there, but there's this guy right there. This is the binary. As you can see, it's 11 megabytes, 11 and change megabytes. And if we now look to the other one, to the release one, and we do the same thing, look at the difference. It's it's like 5 times smaller. And you ask yourself, what's going on? Well, in debug mode, you need a lot of other. They're prioritizing a lot of other stuff. Let me just show you. They say a picture is better than 1,000 words. So let's show you debug first. Clear, and let me show you what that was inside of the binary. Look at all that stuff. That's all this stuff inside that binary. that it's debug mode, so you need that stuff to debug it, whether you're using GDB or you're using, this is by the way, this is more Unix type of systems, and in the Windows world is like it's a little bit different, but this is Unix. A Mac or if you're using Linux, this will apply because you're using different compilers. So if you're using this is all the stuff that it needs for the debug. But now let's strip this so you see the difference. Strip YouTube image viewer. If you remember, it was 11 megabytes. Now we strip it, and now let's see the size now. Look at the difference. It's almost 4 megabytes of stuff that is there. And if we now do an NMC of you can see that it's a lot cleaner, right? Before it had all of that stuff. Now it's stripped all of that, and now is a lot leaner. Okay. And that's why when I say it's so important to run, instead of running these images, especially when you're dealing with images and you're dealing with computationally expensive stuff like images are, you need to do this in release mode. I mean, you use debug whenever you're working on it, but if you want to optimize, that's another thing that I didn't mention. Let me show you this. You see where it says here, finish, and it says unoptimized and debug info. Okay, that's unoptimized. Now, when I run it in release mode, look at what it says. It says optimized. So that's basically what it's doing. Is it in release mode is optimized, is taking advantage of parallel and SIMD or SIMD. It's using a lot of stuff under the hood that normally when you're doing debug mode, you don't take advantage of those because you're prioritizing different stuff. You're prioritizing memory, safety, and debugging, and all that. But when you're doing release, you're prioritizing other stuff, and you don't care so much of the debug part. So it's a lot leaner, a lot faster, and more optimized. And that's what I wanted to show you because when we start manipulating pixels, when we start replacing pixels and doing all that good stuff, we're going to be using a lot of those techniques, and we're going to be basically you running always on release mode, just in case you find it that it's laggy, a little laggy. That's what's going on because if you run it on just run, it's gonna be laggy. But this is the end of this tutorial. If you like this tutorial, please click the like box and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time with another tutorial. Take care.